Welcome to our channel. Enjoy today's story and learn English in a fun and engaging way.
It was a bright, sunny morning, and the air buzzed with excitement at Oakwood Elementary. Today was the day of the annual school talent show, and all the students were either nervously practicing their acts or eagerly anticipating the performances. In Miss Willow's third grade class, 3 friends were gearing up for their big moments. Leela, the shy but passionate singer, clutched her microphone tightly. Jake, the always energetic and playful boy, double-checked the strings on his guitar, while Bella, the quiet and observant artist, nervously adjusted her paintbrushes. Leela had chosen to sing a beautiful song about friendship. Her knees were wobbling, and she could barely think straight as she stepped onto the stage. But the moment the music started, she remembered her friends cheering her on during practice, and she poured her heart into the song. By the end, the audience was on their feet, clapping enthusiastically. Next up was Jake, who planned to wow everyone with his guitar skills. He began with an energetic chord, and the melody flowed smoothly from his fingers. His confidence was infectious, and soon, the whole audience was clapping along. Halfway through his performance, he pulled off an impressive guitar solo that made everyone gasp. Jake finished with a triumphant flourish, leaving the crowd cheering wildly. Bella was last, and her talent was the most unique. She had been working on a giant mural backstage that she intended to reveal at the very end of her act. As she walked on stage, she could feel her heart pounding. She took a deep breath and began painting. Slowly, a beautiful scene of a forest full of animals came to life on the giant canvas. The colors were vibrant, and the details were stunning. When she finally put down her brush, the audience sat in silent awe for a moment before erupting into applause. At the end of the show, the principal announced the winners. Leela, Jake, and Bella held their breath, and the prize for the best performance goes to the trio of Leela, Jake, and Bella for their outstanding talents. The 3 friends rushed to the stage, thrilled to be recognized together. They knew that win or lose, the true prize was sharing their talents and supporting each other. As they stood there with their trophies, they realized they had created the best memories, strengthened their friendship, and shown everyone that being true to oneself is the greatest talent of all.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a sunny morning, 3 best friends named Timmy the tiger, Ellie the elephant, and Robbie the rabbit decided to visit the Grand Museum in the heart of their bustling animal city. Timmy was always curious about history, Ellie loved art, and Robbie couldn't wait to see the science exhibits they had heard so much about. They packed a delicious picnic, put on their explorer hats, and set off on their adventure. As they started their journey, they reached the edge of the forest and found a rickety old bridge. "This bridge looks a bit shaky," Timmy said, scratching his head. "But we can do it if we work together," Ellie encouraged with her trunk raised high. Robbie nodded and added, "Let's hold paws and trunks to make sure we stay safe." They carefully crossed the bridge, step by step, until they reached the other side. Onward they marched until they found a sparkling stream with colorful fish darting around. Timmy gazed at the fish in awe. "What beautiful creatures!" he exclaimed. Ellie dipped her trunk in the water, playfully splashing Robbie. "Hey, that's cold!" Robbie giggled, shaking off the droplets. They shared a laugh and continued on their way. Finally, they arrived at the entrance of the Grand Museum. The large double doors creaked open, and they were greeted by Gloria the giraffe, the museum's guide. "Welcome, dear visitors. Today, you will discover the wonders of art, history, and science," she said with a warm smile. They began their tour, starting with the art gallery. Ellie marveled at the paintings and sculptures, especially a giant mural of a sunset. "It's like the artist captured the entire sky," she whispered.
Let's enjoy next story.
In the little town of Sunnyside, there lived a boy named Max. Max had curly hair, a bright smile, and an unquenchable love for soccer, But there was one problem. Max had never played in a real soccer game. He was always too shy to join the team. Max loved watching from the sidelines, always dreaming about making a great goal. One sunny morning, Coach Lena announced tryouts for the soccer team. Max's heart pounded with excitement and nerves. He decided this was his chance. He would join the team. On the day of the tryouts, Max arrived at the field early. He saw other kids warming up, some stretching, others practicing their kicks. Max put on his cleats, closed his eyes, and took a deep breath. "You can do this," he whispered to himself. Coach Lena called everyone to gather around, her whistle hanging from her neck. She explained how the tryouts would work: dribbling, passing, shooting, and teamwork. Max's legs felt like jelly, but he stepped onto the field. The first drill was dribbling around orange cones. Max concentrated hard, his forehead wrinkling with focus. He weaved through the cones like a tiny whirlwind. Next was passing. Max found himself paired with Mia, a girl with pigtails who was very confident. To his surprise, she smiled at him. "Let's be the best team," she said. Max grinned back. They passed the ball to each other with increasing speed, their teamwork growing stronger with each pass. Finally, it was time for shooting. Max lined up behind the other kids, watching each one take a shot at the goal. Some missed, some scored. When it was Max's turn, he aimed carefully, pulled back his leg, and kicked with all his might. The ball soared through the air and landed right in the net. A cheer went up from the other kids. Coach Lena blew her whistle. "Great job, Max," she called out. Max couldn't believe it. He had done it. He had really done it. That afternoon, Coach Lena posted the list of new team members. Max's eyes scanned the paper quickly, and there it was, his name. Max went home that day with a spring in his step and a heart full of joy. He couldn't wait to tell his family. Sunnyside's little soccer team had a new player, and Max knew this was just the beginning of many great adventures on the field. And so, Max's dream of playing soccer had come true, and he learned that sometimes, all you need is a little courage to take the first step.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time in the cheerful town of Sunnyville, there was a small elementary school named Rainbow Hollow. Every year, the school hosted a grand talent show, and this year was no different. Children of all grades were buzzing with excitement and practicing their special talents. Among them were three friends: Lily, a graceful dancer; Max, a curious magician; and Sophie, a talented singer. Lily loved to twirl and spin, making her colorful dress flutter like a butterfly. She had a secret dance move. She was excited to debut the twinkling star. Max was captivated by the world of magic, spending hours practicing card tricks and illusions. He had perfected a trick where he could make a coin disappear and reappear inside a lemon. Sophie, with her melodious voice, could make anyone's heart sing. She chose a song that always made her happy and hoped it would make the audience smile too. The big day finally arrived. The auditorium was decorated with bright streamers and glowing lights. The air was filled with the chatter of excited parents and the giggles of children. One by one, the students performed their acts. The room was filled with laughter, applause, and the occasional gasp of amazement. When it was Lily's turn, she took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. As the music began, she danced gracefully, and when she performed the twinkling star, the audience clapped and cheered loudly. Next up was Max. He walked onto the stage with a cheeky grin. He performed his magic tricks with flair and confidently executed the lemon trick.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time, in a cozy little cottage on the edge of a bustling forest, there lived a kind-hearted rabbit named Reuben. Reuben loved to host garden parties for all his friends. His garden was filled with vibrant flowers, delicious vegetables, and a sparkling pond where the fish liked to play. One bright morning, Reuben decided it was the perfect day to host his annual garden party. he sent invitations to all his friends: Tilly the tortoise, Benny the bluebird, Sally the squirrel, and even Timmy the tiny mouse. They were all thrilled to come and join the fun. As the sun began to rise, Reuben busied himself with preparations. He laid out colorful blankets, set up tables with tasty treats like carrot cakes, berry pies, and honey cookies, and filled the pond with fresh water for the fish. His friends started arriving, greeted by the sweet aroma of flowers and the cheerful songs of the birds. Tilly the tortoise brought her famous dandelion salad, Benny the bluebird sang beautiful melodies, Sally the squirrel showed off her acorn juggling skills, and Timmy the tiny mouse, though small, had the biggest smile of them all. The garden party was in full swing when suddenly, dark clouds rolled in. A heavy rain began to pour. Oh no! Reuben's friends hurried to help him cover the food and find shelter. They took refuge under the big oak tree at the edge of the garden. Just when they thought the party was ruined, Tilly had an idea. "Why don't we turn this into a rain party?" she suggested. Benny chirped in agreement, flapping his wings excitedly. Sally and Timmy nodded with bright smiles. Reuben, seeing his friends' enthusiasm, decided to embrace the idea. They danced under the tree, splashed in puddles, and even made little leaf boats to float on the pond. The garden, though wet, was filled with laughter and joy. The rain finally stopped, and a beautiful rainbow appeared in the sky. The friends gathered together, enjoying the sight and feeling grateful for each other's company. Reuben realized that it wasn't about having the perfect party, it was about making the best of any situation with friends by your side. As the day came to an end, Reuben said goodbye to his friends, who left with hearts full of joy and bellies full of treats. The garden party had turned into a cherished memory, reminding everyone that laughter and friendship could shine through even the darkest clouds.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Sunnybrook, lived a cheerful squirrel named Sammy. Sammy had a bushy tail and bright eyes that sparkled like the morning dew. He was known for his kindness and adventurous spirit. One sunny Saturday, Sammy decided to organize a picnic by the lake for all his friends. Sammy sent out invitations to Billy the bunny, Daisy the duck, and Rollo the raccoon. They were all excited and started planning what delicious goodies to bring. On the day of the picnic, the friends gathered under the old oak tree by the lake. Sammy had brought a basket full of acorns, Billy had a bunch of juicy carrots, Daisy brought a loaf of freshly baked bread, and Rollo had jars of sweet honey. They spread a colorful blanket and arranged the food, creating a delightful spread. As they enjoyed their meal, they heard a soft rustling in the bushes. Out popped a shy little hedgehog named Harold, who had smelled the delicious feast. Sammy, with his kind heart, invited Harold to join them. Harold hesitated but then shyly nodded and shuffled over to the blanket. The friends welcomed Harold warmly, and they shared stories, laughed, and played games together. They skipped stones across the lake and watched the clouds float by, imagining they were shapes of different animals. As the sun began to set, casting a golden glow over the lake, Sammy suggested they sing a song.
Let's enjoy next story.
In the heart of the quaint little village of Wiggleville, the annual summer festival was the most anticipated event of the year. Every animal, big and small, excitedly buzzed about as the event approached. The village square transformed into a dazzling display of colors and lights. There were stalls filled with sweet treats, games, and little trinkets that sparkled like treasures. Amelia the squirrel, known for her love of adventure, couldn't contain her excitement. She put on her best blue ribbon and dashed out of her treehouse to meet her friends, Benny the bear and Leela the ladybug. Benny, with his gentle demeanor and love for honey cakes, was carrying a basket filled with snacks, while Leela, petite but full of energy, flittered around them. "Let's head to the Ferris wheel first," chirped Leela, her wings glittering in the sunlight. Benny nodded, his eyes twinkling with anticipation. Amelia led the way, her bushy tail swishing with enthusiasm. The Ferris wheel stood tall and magnificent, its vibrant colors reflecting the joy of the festival. They hopped into one of the carriages, and as it slowly ascended, they gazed in awe at the breathtaking view of Wiggleville. The fields that stretched beyond the village looked like a golden sea under the summer sun. As they descended, laughter and music filled the air. Next, they wandered to the game stalls. Benny eyed a ring toss game where the prize was a giant stuffed honeybee.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time, there were two curious siblings named Timmy and Lily. Every summer, they visited their grandma's house, hidden deep in the forest, where adventures waited around every corner and magic seemed to linger in the air. Grandma was a kind elderly woman with twinkling eyes that held secrets of the ancient woods. She always had stories to share about mystical creatures and enchanted places. One sunny morning, Timmy and Lily decided to explore the forest. Grandma packed them a picnic basket filled with delicious sandwiches, fresh fruits, and her famous homemade cookies. She waved them off with a smile and reminded them to be back before sunset. The forest was a place of wonder. Timmy, the older brother, led the way with a confident stride, holding a map Grandma had given them. Lily followed closely, her eyes wide with excitement. They walked past towering trees, their branches forming a canopy that filtered sunlight. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a sparkling stream. As the sunlight hit the water, it looked like the stream was made of diamonds. Timmy and Lily sat by the stream, dipping their toes in the cool water. They giggled and listened to the gentle flow. As they ate their picnic, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Out popped a small, fluffy creature with big, round eyes. It was a forest sprite, and it looked just as curious as they felt. The sprite introduced itself as Whisker. Whisker told the children about a hidden treasure deep within the forest. It offered to guide them to this treasure if they promised to be respectful of the forest and its inhabitants. Timmy and Lily eagerly agreed. They followed Whisker through winding paths, over moss-covered logs, and past ancient stone formations. The journey was filled with awe and wonder. Finally, they reached a clearing with a magnificent tree in the center. Its roots formed a natural archway that glowed with a soft, warm light. Whisker led them through the archway, and on the other side was a breathtaking sight. A meadow filled with flowers of every color imaginable and a treasure chest encrusted with gems. Inside the chest, they found not gold or jewels, but a collection of items from the past, letters, trinkets, and keepsakes that told the history of the forest and their family. They realized that the real treasure was the stories and memories. With hearts full and new stories to share, Timmy, Lily, and Whisker headed back to Grandma's house just as the sun began to set. Grandma was waiting for them on the porch, her eyes twinkling with knowing joy. She listened intently as they recounted their adventure and the treasure they had found. She hugged them close and whispered, "The forest always has stories to tell, and now you are part of them." And so, Timmy and Lily's summer at Grandma's house turned into a memory they cherished forever, filled with adventure, wonder, and the magic of the ancient woods.
Let's enjoy next story.
In the small village of Meadowbrook, every spring brought more than just blooming flowers and chirping birds. It was the time for the great bicycle race. Stevie, a young rabbit with a zest for adventure, had been looking forward to the race all year. His best friends, Laura the squirrel and Max the hedgehog, were equally excited. They had been practicing for months, riding through the winding woodland trails, over pebbly brooks, and up hilly paths. Each year, the race attracted participants from neighboring villages, and this year was no exception. The day of the race arrived with much fanfare. Banners fluttered in the breeze, and the scent of fresh pies from Mrs. Dovetail's bakery filled the air. The starting line was abuzz with excitement and the chattering of little animals. Stevie tightened his helmet, exchanged final words of encouragement with Laura and Max, and took his position. The whistle blew, and off they went. Stevie pedaled hard, feeling the rush of wind through his fur. He navigated through the familiar trails, but halfway through the race, he stumbled upon a surprise. There on the ground was Robbie, a raccoon from a neighboring village, with a broken bicycle chain. Robbie looked distraught. Without a second thought, Stevie stopped.
Let's enjoy next story.
Once upon a time, in a small town, there was a spooky old house at the end of Elm Street. The house was big and dark, with creaky floors and cobwebbed windows. Everyone in town said it was haunted. But no one knew for sure because no one ever dared to go inside. Until one day, 3 brave friends, Lily, Max, and Sam, decided to solve the mystery. Armed with flashlights and lots of courage, they marched up to the front door. It swung open with a loud creak. They stepped inside and saw a dusty old chandelier hanging from the ceiling. As they tiptoed through the house, they heard strange noises, whispers, footsteps, and then, a loud bang. "Did you hear that?" whispered Lily. "It's coming from upstairs," said Max. The friends slowly climbed the grand staircase, each step echoing in the silence. When they reached the top, they found a door that was slightly ajar. Inside they saw nothing but an empty room with an old rocking chair swaying back and forth. "There's got to be something more," Sam said with determination. He walked up to the fireplace and noticed a loose brick. "Help me with this," he called. Together, they managed to pull the brick out, revealing a small, dusty box hidden inside. They opened the box and found an old diary. The diary belonged to a girl named Emily, who used to live in the house many years ago. As they flipped through the pages, they read about Emily's adventures, her dreams, and the sadness she felt after losing her family. "Maybe her spirit is still here," said Lily softly. "We need to help her." In the final pages, Emily had written about a locket her mother gave her, which she lost somewhere in the house. The 3 friends made it their mission to find the locket. They searched the house from top to bottom. Finally, in the attic, under a pile of dusty old blankets, they found it. The locket sparkled even in the dim light. "This must be it," exclaimed Max. They took the locket back to the room with the rocking chair and placed it gently on the mantel above the fireplace. Then, something amazing happened. The air in the room felt lighter, and the whispers and footsteps ceased. A warm glow filled the room, and the friends could feel that Emily was finally at peace. From that day on, the house at the end of Elm Street wasn't spooky anymore. The friends had not only solved the mystery, but they had also helped a lost soul find peace. And whenever they walked past the house, they always felt a gentle warmth, as if Emily was thanking them for their bravery.